Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Hectors. Today we will be showcasing a mix set for the new insect glaive from Lunastra known as the Empress Cane Styx. Now, I have to say this thing is by far my new favorite glaive, so I didn't want the set to look like utter garbage after it was put together. Also, the innate ability Razor Sharp on top of the weapon's white sharpness and its respectable blast damage finally gives me a reason to use a blast glaive. But let's go ahead and get into the gear. Now, for the weapon, I do have it augmented with health regen. In all honesty, I feel like I wasted this, and it could have been better spent on an affinity augment for the damage increase. But this ultimately will come down to a playstyle choice, so choose whichever you prefer. Now, for the armor, we do have the Kultaros Helm and Chest Beta, Nergigante Braces Alpha, Nergigante Coil Beta, Death Stench Heal Beta, as well as an Exploiter 2 Charm. Now, after dual socketing, the skills we'll have are the Attack Boost 5 for the 15 attack and 5% affinity, Agitator 5 for an additional 20 attack and an additional 15% affinity while the monster's enraged. This is really why I opted for the health regen instead of the affinity, since we'll have 80% affinity when they're enraged. Next, we have Blast Attack 3 to bring our blast to 260. Weakness Exploit 3 for the 50% affinity to weak points. Stun Resistance 2, reducing the amount of time stunned by 60%. Critical Boost 2 to give us that additional 10% to our 10% damage to our crits. Handicraft 2 to boost that white sharpness even further. Free Element comes with the helmet, ignore that skill. And then finally, Razor Sharp. This effectively doubles that already massive white sharpness bar. This is the cherry on top of that quality of life for this build. But let's go ahead and take a look at the jewels we socketed to achieve these skills. Alright, so we have a Tenderizer and Blast Jewel in the Glaive, a Challenger and Blast Jewel in the Helm, a Challenger and Blast Jewel in the chest, a Critical Jewel in the waist, and 2 attack jewels in the legs. But let's go ahead and see how this set does against Lunastra. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. Now, surprisingly, I actually did not eat for fire resistance or anything like that. I found that with the Glaive, due to its versatility and the ability to not only maneuver, but the aerial combat is much more viable in this scenario. And we'll get to that here in a little bit here. Let me first just go ahead and buff up. Throw on my Rocksteady Mantle and collect these buffs. Now, one thing that I absolutely love about this is the synergy that this weapon has with the Pseudocath. Those blast procs from the bug plus the weapons blast just make your blasts go off so much more frequently. That's a lot of extra added damage. I mean, there's 2 blasts already. Let's go ahead and bring her down here. And then just start swinging away. Alright, Agitator's kicked in. There's our extra affinity here. Now, aerial combat is actually surprisingly advised. Now, you want to watch your stamina because you don't want to get caught in the air and accidentally mount with no stamina left. So, make sure to mix it up a bit, but you can avoid a lot of that ground damage just by staying airborne. Not to mention, you get a lot of extra hits off, and surprisingly, those hits actually do proc your blast damage, so it's well worth it to be on or airborne. Not to mention, when you're airborne like that, your Glaive does slicing damage. Lunastra's wings are 3-star weakness, 2 slicing damage, so the actual damage from being airborne is not as bad as it usually is for most other weapons. This is one of the few fights where it's actually not terrible. Also, I mean, considering how often she goes into the air, being able to go up in the air, I mean, the Glaive has probably been one of the easiest weapons I've been able to use to fight her. Oh, she's gonna try and mount, so we're gonna, there we go. I'm gonna try and mount. She was gonna try and do an explosion. Oh, okay, down she goes. We can just keep swinging away. Another thing, try to keep Pseudocath out as much as possible. Pseudocath will do its own damage, not to mention the added effect of the blast is really what's gonna be king here. And if you ever have a hard time finding an opening, go up into the air. And since she has a 2-star weakness to blast, it's not a bad idea. See, we'll go ahead and send out Pseudocath. Watch that stamina bar. Oop. That's okay. Agitator kicks off, gets that 15% affinity and 20 attack. Plus we get that 1.32 damage modifier from the white sharpness, which we've been able to keep up almost the entire fight. And broken. There we go. Swing away for our infinite combo. Try to maybe get off another blast. Oop! Hit into blue sharpness. I'm not going to bother sharpening at this point. Stopped her from running. Come on. There we go. There we go. Got another blast off and dead. Alright, let's take a look here at the time on that. 5 minutes, 26 seconds. So as you can see, this is an extremely powerful glaive. Great build around it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. If you would like to see a particular build around a specific weapon, feel free to leave a request in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting!